quarterfinal time, and quarterfinal 3 hitting the lineup now with the amazing story of Julian Wilson on a magic run in his return to the championship tour with this wildcard opportunity up against Miguel Pupo, who has solidified his place above the cut line. He'll be competing through the back end of the year.
Rolling the dice pretty consistently.
Oh, Miggy's in good touch though, isn't he, Rick?
Yeah, he is. Just a big hook to start off. Just comes a little unstuck. Jules further down the line, racing, streaking down this one. And basically just a repositioning manoeuvre there.
Cool and important as we see him up here now.
Yeah, let's see what kind of start he can get here against Miguel Pupo.
I think as well, just noticing how busy he's been through the whole event, I feel like that's something that's...
Way up the point, but let's have a look at what happens with Miguel Pupo here. Just slams that final turn. And, well, somewhat debatable whether that final manoeuvre was complete. Silky smooth style. What do you think of this one, Cal?
Yeah, obviously with that lower tide, it's making it really cut out and actually pretty hard to surf, really, and especially riding out of those last manoeuvres. I think
12th CT head-to-head heat.
Yeah.
But in that time, Julian has racked up 9 victories to Miguel's 2. Do you get that same experience?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, you put yourself out there, you put yourself in front of all the people on the beach and obviously everything like that. And I think it was Vaughan was asking Patchy about who's Jules's sports psych, and we actually share the same as we see Miggy on one that just flattens out
of this one. But yeah, chatting to the sports psychologist,
you'd actually be able to grab that board and try and lock it into your feet, which is sometimes a lot of the crew won't be able to stick it.
We got some movement here. It's been a bit of a slow start, but this heat could come to life at any time. Julian, he opts out of that one. Just trying to get down the line a little bit here at the moment.
Yeah, obviously at the moment I think that tide's dropping out as we see Jules having a little look.
Yeah,
we'll get back to that question.
Lining up the bowl. He's quick to get out of the pocket. You can see how tricky these waves are to read at the moment. He's loading up, but can't find the ramp there. Just over 16 and a half minutes to go. He's still looking for...
Be looking for just major manoeuvres rather than kind of more manoeuvres as the morning goes on.
Julian up again, has a lot of speed, has so many different airs. On the front side he can go to. He's going to stick a rotation and throw the figure up to the crowd in celebration. He likes the feel of that. He's been searching for that moment in the opening stages here. In his attempts at airs, he's pulled a lot of moves that haven't factored into his heat score totals, Cal, but this was a beauty.
Yeah, and I think just like it's super cool that obviously he's had a few years out of the big legs and he's coming back just throwing punts that's his, like he's gone straight back into what was his strength, which I think is super cool. And obviously his completion rate, especially with the way the conditions have been the last couple of days, that actually haven't been that conducive for airs, for him to be able to actually obviously have the technical awareness to be able to
going forehand, going backhand, big waves, small waves.
Yeah, he's my favourite surfer, one of my favourite surfers. So he's obviously got it all. He's a pipe master. He grew up on the sunny coast, so he knows how to surf small waves. He knows how to do punts. So for me, he's one of the ultimate surfers, especially when...
As we see Miggy up and riding.
Well, Miggy's trying to stay on pace here. Julian dropped a 6.83. He's got a cupped out little wall. You can tell it's getting pretty difficult to surf this transition now. But the Brazilian, he is really looking clicked in. He was able to send a message to his family back home who are always tuned in and watching, obviously his folks, and these clashes, what it means to them. But I think he's going to get himself a decent score here too. Yeah,
nice tight surfing on the backhand. So steep, these little sections, and Miggy does just really well to get right up there.
To make the cut the last couple of seasons, so to ensure his place before we get to Margaret River is massive as Julian goes looking for a score to increase his heat score total here. Loading up. The surf fans are loving the aerial performance of Julian so far. Again, stays on his feet. Rock solid. Slams the board. There's been a lot of celebrating.
Getting back onto that hillside rail. And Jules just really working this one down the line, building speed, waiting for that little air section to loom up in front of him. Now he eyes it. Gets the tail kick.
Maybe a little mistake in the end, but yeah, I end up going on my way. Well, Alejo, an absolute inspiration into the semi-finals with good friend Felipe. Good luck, enjoy it, and yeah, can't wait to see you drop some more hammers.
Yeah, thank you so much. Obrigado, galera do Brasil, minha esposa, meu filho, galera de Patrulhas, tamo junto.
He was really working this one down the line. You see this one just troughing out in front of him. Have a look at this barrel, so deep. And at this point here, he's behind the phone ball.
And he's absolutely buzzing for good reason. A massive result for him. He is going to go skyrocketing up the rankings. As we see Miguel now getting in on the exchange. He's falling a little behind, but this one's potentially going to help him make up some ground. He's after an 8.16 to get to first. He'd love to just chip away at that requirement.
And this was Miguel Pupo outside. Clean snap to start things off. Getting really tricky as these waves hit this inside bank. Miguel does well to get out in front of it and get a couple of clean snaps off that final.
We've got a Bonsoy replay here of Julian's last ride.
It comes from behind, a couple of foam climbs, and then finds a bit of open face. Let's see what Jules gets done here. Nice snap off the top, comes round the bottom, goes for the big blowtail, and is he going to ride out this one? No.
Still got some ground to make up to power up the rankings, Miguel, but surviving this heat will help his chances as Julian finds a bit of clean wall to get stuck into. He's already thrown some airs our way. Now shows us how solid his rail work is too before loading up for a huge finish on the inside here. Just floats his way down the line, giving us something different, showing the panel just what variation he has on the forehand. And he pumps the fist. He feels good about it.
As we see Jules, especially on this, for me, this is what I love. Just that full composure to hold your bottom turn the whole way, no pumping in between manoeuvres. I think, for me, that's what I think of when I think of Julian Wilson surfing. I think of those seamless, long bottom turns where he maintains his whole speed up into that top part of the wave. And, yeah, you can see what it means to Julian. He's pretty stoked.
Julian Wilson, he has a shot at converting this wildcard opportunity potentially into a Championship Tour win. Championship Tour win number 6.
Yeah, the dream run continues. Pretty cool.